Come here! Go, 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 go front. Go front, go front. Go, 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 go. Go front, go front, go front. Go! Go front, go front. Go front. Oh! What's the one you want? What's the one you done? Wait, go on. I never slap him. You know that guy? Sorry.
Welcome, Daddy.
Welcome, sir.
Any personal explanation?
Yes.
That's all.
Mr. Speaker, colleagues.
Mr. Speaker, notice of presentation of bill. 1. SAB 41. The Abia, the 2025 Appropriation Amendment Bill 2025 agreed to a law to provide a sum of 187,687,196,965 naira only in the 2025 Abia State Appropriation Law for the services of government of Abia State of Nigeria for the year ending 31st December 2025 and other related purposes. Presentation and first reading.
I recommend represent very people of our constituency. My speaker, I rise with the motion for that to allow HA 41 to undergo this custody and so
Amendment Parliament Bill 2025.
Brother, I'm gonna clear here now. We'll go to the gallery if you want to short.
This one,
Mr. Speaker, Order of the day. Presentation of the 2026 budget estimate of Abia State of Nigeria by His Excellency the Governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex O.M.R.
My speaker, I rise to move a motion for the House to resolve quasi plenary with the main cover and for the doors of these hallowed chambers to through for the governor of the Excellency of the House for the presentation to come in and for the presentation of the 2026 budget estimate of Abia State. I so move.
Right Honorable Member representing of Abia State. I second the motion as moved by the majority.
I'm going to allow the Executive Governor of Abia State to present its 2026 appropriation bill. President Sarai. President Senior. Eyes on it. Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. We want to welcome His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Otti, OFI, who has come to present the appropriation bill for 2026 budget. Your Excellency, you hold himself. He will, at this point, invite you to do your presentations.
Your Excellency, Executive Governor of Abia State, the majority leader,
Assembly, Honorable Chairman Roland, other principal officers, the Secretary to the State Government, the Chief of Staff, Honorable Commissioner for Budget and Plan, ability to use the three of you to reach out to other commissioners and other government appointees that are here with us, including the body of permanent secretaries, the members of the chairman and members of the House of Assembly Service Commission, and the other members of other commissions that are here with us, distinguished Abians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the press. I want to thank all of you for finding time to be part of this presentation this afternoon. The budget for 2026 is presented budget of acceleration and new possibilities. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the Abia State House of Assembly, fellow Abians, permit me to begin on a note of profound gratitude. First, to this honorable Assembly and its leadership for warmly welcoming us into this hallowed chamber to present the draft 2026 appropriation bill for legislative consideration. I would also like to use this special opportunity offered by this August gathering to thank Abia at home and in the diaspora for their continued goodwill and prayerful support. The position of leadership in a democracy is not just about one's prayers, but an honor done to an individual or group by the people in continuing pursuit of the dreams of freedom, which is democracy's ultimate and most compelling promise. Today, we have come to further strengthen our confidence with our people, whose collective expectations we bear. I would like to sincerely thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the honorable members of this House for your commitment to the new Abia project. Over the past 2.5 years, you have worked collaboratively with the leaders of other arms of government to build robust and responsive institutions. Thank you for placing the future of our state over personal glory, and above all, for prioritizing development over petty politics. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we are here primarily to lay the expenditure outline for the next fiscal year before this assembly, but we have also come for other important reasons connected to the democratic culture of accountability. Events like this present an excellent opportunity for stock taking to assess how far we have come, what has been achieved with the resources appropriated by this House, and then present a plan
for consideration and improvements because there are no perfect endeavors. Beyond consolidation, we also have our eyes fixed on greater development targets, our overarching governance agenda, the motivation behind everything we have done over the last 30 months is to build systems and structures that support the productive ventures of our people, cut out the obstacles that set us back and unleash the genius of this land. And it is really blessed. But as we have learned from a careful observation of the world, potential for greatness is not the same thing as greatness. Our job as leaders is to activate a mechanism for transforming our system of natural advantages into platforms for true greatness. The promise to make Abia truly the #1 state in the country on all relevant and applicable indices of development is beyond sloganeering. It is a commitment to turn the human and material assets available to the state into productive vehicles of economic growth and prosperity. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the 8th Assembly, while it is true that we are still far from our target destination, it is also a statement of fact that with the support of this House, with the understanding and cooperation of members across political party lines, we have made significant progress on relevant development indicators, leading to the positioning of the state as a major investment destination and a safe place to raise families. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, I would like to share a few of the most remarkable achievements already recorded in the 2025 fiscal year. You may wish to recall that on December 10, 2024, I stood on this same platform to present for the consideration of this House a total budget estimate of 750.2 billion naira for the 2025 fiscal year. 82% of the total outlay was targeted at capital projects, while we channeled the balance of 80% to recurrent expenditure. We gathered a few weeks later to formally sign the appropriation bill into law after it had been carefully considered for feasibility, expected impact, and project spread, and then given a comprehensive note by Mr. Speaker and his colleagues. 11 months down the line, I'm glad to report without any fear of equivocation that the expenditure pattern since January till date reflects the spirit and letters of the appropriation bill as passed and signed into law. The state has also been prudent in the application of subsequent supplementary appropriations made by the House over the course of the year, as we try to respond to important developments that could not have been anticipated when putting the appropriation bill together. My report to Mr. Speaker and the House today is that since the beginning of the year, we have kept our outlays to the needs approved by this Assembly. As already indicated, the road ahead is still far, but the target has never been to achieve perfect outcomes. Our commitment is to continue to put one foot ahead of the other, to move from one point to the next, and make each day's accomplishments better than outcomes from previous days' efforts. As we often say, development is essentially about the sequence of progress that expands the capacity of individuals and institutions to function. In the light of where we currently stand on the development ladder, and our assignment as leaders is to build structures that empower the people, our success, will be measured in the end by the trees we revive and the number of persons whose candles are lit by the policies and programs we curate. The greatness we seek in our communities will come from the new paths we create. The progress we make in the education of our young people, the results we achieve in healthcare delivery, the efforts that keeping our communities safe, and in the force of the personal examples we demonstrate as leaders. In the light of the above, Mr. Speaker, I'm glad to report that since assuming office in 2023, we made significant progress on the security front. Abia, despite the chaos you hear from far and near, has remained one of the safest destinations for residents and travelers in the entire country. This is one of the few places where the government is in absolute control of all its territorial jurisdictions. Over the last 11 months, we have doubled our commitment to the security of lives and property in line with the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution, Section 14(2)(b). Mr. Speaker, honorable members, fellow adults, the security measures we put in place have guaranteed that any of us can travel from Umundo to and back at any time of the day or night without fear of untoward developments. In the few times that men of the underworld have tested our results, we have also responded in ways that reiterated our message that whoever threatens the peace and security of this state shall pay a heavy price. I would like to especially salute our security officials for the courage and efforts at keeping this state safe, even at the risk of their lives. Road infrastructure development occupies a central place in our governance framework, and I can confidently report that remarkable progress has also been made in this regard. In the last 30 months, over 600 kilometers of strategic roads have been constructed, rehabilitated, and restored across the 17 local government areas. Since the beginning of the year, we have completed some of our landmark road infrastructure development projects, including the Port Harcourt Road in Abia, Ohangu Road also in Abia, and a long stretch of road projects within the Abia extended urban corridor. Roads that were hitherto overgrown with weeds, covered with heaps of waste and stagnant factory water that have since been rehabilitated and restored. Within the period under review, the state government, relying on the legislative leverage provided by this House, also completed the 8.3 kilometer Isiekita Obika Road and the 45 kilometer Omaha Abia Road, which traverses 4 local government areas in the central and northern regions of the state. We have also made significant progress on all other major road projects we initiated with special reference to the 30-kilometer Arochukwu-Uzoaba Road, Oboya Road, Aba, Umopara Road, Ntea Ibase Umara Road, Onimodu Abia Tower Road Dualization, Yowereta Omeka Umwe Road Dualization, Ohafia Arochukwu Road, Nonya Eduama Road, Mbala Omar Ngodo Road, Obehe Umudioka Owaza Road, Ohanze Ntegozo, Obete Umoha, Obrete, Agrikobu Road, Isieketa Mba, Ekokoro Mbedala Road, and several others. One significant achievement enough to be called a revolution in the road infrastructure restoration frontline is the expanded role of the engineering corps at the State Ministry of Works. Before now, this team of professionals were badly redundant, restricted to clerical functions even as their technical competencies lay dormant. Today, the story is different. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, may I report that through the effective contributions of a team of engineers and technical officers at the Ministry of Works, this administration has been able to achieve impressive results on road rehabilitation, reconstruction, and maintenance. Their involvement has also saved us tens of billions of naira in project costs, from our beloved state capital, Maya, to more than 100 other communities. The daily experiences of our people have changed dramatically with the completion of critical roads connecting individuals to their sources of livelihood, mainly by direct labor. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you may wish to recall that in the 2025 fiscal year, 15% of the entire budgetary outlay was appropriated for the health sector. And as a faithful steward, it is our duty to report that the funds were applied to projects, programs, and general body of initiatives that are tied to improving the health and well-being of our people. Over the past 11 months, we have reviewed or retrofitted, equipped, and staffed about 200 primary health care centers. We have also recorded great strides in reviving the secondary healthcare system with the restoration of Abia and Otti general hospitals, the reconstruction and expansion of operations of the Abia and Mboro cottage hospitals, and the operationalization of the Sustainable Development Multipurpose Hospital in Ogunabo. On the tertiary care front, we have also achieved very important milestones that have not only raised the quality of care available to our people, but have saved lives and restored hope in the public healthcare delivery system. And this point, Mr. Speaker, may I greatly endow this to inform this honorable House that the Abia State University Teaching Hospital is being remodeled into a center of excellence in the provision of tertiary care and medical research. You know why? The Abia State Specialist and Diagnostic Hospital has continued to expand the scope of its offering by providing very dedicated specialist services in eye care, intensive care, kidney, and cardiac support. It is fulfilling to note that health conditions that previously took individuals and families out of the state can now be addressed in the public health institutions owned by the state. To further consolidate the gains made in healthcare and human support services, we recently introduced the Abia Health Workers Salary Scale, ASHWOS. Under the new remuneration structure, health workers in the state enjoy the same reward system as their counterparts in the federal health service. To further boost our human resource aspect in the health sector, we recently concluded the recruitment of 771 professionals to support health service delivery across our primary, secondary, and tertiary facilities. Things are looking good across the entire value chain in our healthcare delivery system, and we are only just getting started. It may also be worthwhile to inform us that since the rollout of our former sector health insurance program in April, we have enrolled over 120 persons, guaranteed them affordable access to quality health services to partner families, to partner facilities across the state. On account of the investment we have made, especially in the last 11 months, Abia was recently ranked as the most prepared state for health emergency responses in the entire country. Again, it is still early days, but it is gratifying to see our modest efforts bearing great fruits. The educational sector has also witnessed extensive transformation in structure and service layout since the beginning of the year. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, education, as you know, is our biggest industry. This explains why we have consistently allocated the largest chunk of our annual budget to this sector, 20% in 2024 and 20% in 2025 budget cycles. We share with you, expressed several years ago by the great Nelson Mandela, that education is the greatest tool we to work can use to change the world. Education for us is the #1 vehicle for development. Our commitment to qualitative education informed the decision to recruit 5,394 teachers for our primary and secondary schools earlier in the year. And the recruitment of another 4,000 is ongoing at the moment. The remodeling and retrofitting of over 100 schools in different communities, mainstreaming smart learning in our public school system, and capacity building program for more than 2,000 teachers are some of the bold initiatives we have taken in the last 11 months to reshape the future of our society through education. On account of the remarkable progress made in the restoration of quality teaching and learning in public schools, the confidence of parents and guardians is returned. Recent data from the Abia State Universal Private Basic Education Board indicates that the enrollment has doubled in the last 9 months, especially after the rollout of the free and compulsory basic education policy from the beginning of this year. The performance of the tertiary education front is also heartwarming. We also report that the management of Abia State University through Polytechnic Abia and the Abia State College of Education Technical have been given necessary financial and structural support to improve the quality of programs and outputs of their institutions. We, while several years of salary arrears inherited by this government have been completely paid. The importance of agriculture to our food security and job creation outlook cannot be overemphasized, but we have moved past the old tradition of guesswork and political patronage in the guise of agricultural support. Our approach to the sector is data-driven and evidence-based. We have subsequently created a robust database that matches farmers to farmers and other pharmacies. Even as we continue to update the records, the good news today is that we now know the number of active farmers in the state, their place in the value chain, as well as the nature of support that they need to achieve higher output volumes. And the strength of the data available to us, we provided targeted support to more than 2,000 smallholder farmers in the last farming season. We also instruct this Honorable Assembly to note that hitherto dormant agricultural assets owned by the state, including palm, rubber, and palm oil plantations, have since been sold, and a digital register created to guide our interactions with investors negotiating to put these assets to greater use. Let me, as I conclude this segment of the summary of our achievements in the last 11 months, inform Mr. Speaker and this Honorable House that our plan to achieve energy independence reached some significant milestones this year with the passage and signing of the Abia State Electricity Law and the setting up of the Abia State Electricity Regulatory Agency as set earlier in the year. And I must thank this Honorable House for the speedy passage of these bills. Just recently, I offered to back off the electricity distribution access in the state outside the Abia Defense Corridor was accepted by the original investors. This new development takes us a step closer to our target of effective control of the electricity value chain in all parts of the state. Without any shadow of doubt, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, our great state has recorded remarkable progress on multiple development front lines since the beginning of the year. Our cities and towns now rank as some of the cleanest urban destinations in the country. We are also seeing great results in the management and maintenance of our public buildings, following the rehabilitation and restoration of several government offices and residence for public officials. Productivity in the civil service is rising tremendously, owing to our commitment to workers' welfare and support for capacity building programs. Our policy of prompt and regular payment of pensions has restored the faith of our senior citizens, and we shall do even better in the coming years. Through various activities in sports, ICT, business incubation, and leadership training programs, we have changed the youth empowerment paradigm in the state from the old emphasis on fleeting things that keep them dependent on individuals to the development of skills that build their independence. Our grand plan for the youth is to provide them the extensive support they need to build and sustain themselves through consistent value creation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, fellow Abians, even with the list of former achievements already presented, I'll be the first to acknowledge that we have still not reached the good moment as it relates to the implementation of the provisions of the 2025 budget on account of constraints arising from our main projections and critical contingencies that we were required to deal with. A few lessons have been learned from this. We shall continue to make improvements that reflect our new insights on the broad structure of public sector governance. We shall, at the end of this quarter, publish our holistic budget performance report for 2025. At any rate, what I can announce on this podium this means is that we are seeing a progressive rise in budget performance. Mr. Speaker, having given a comprehensive rundown of our performance on critical development frontiers in the 2025 financial year, I am now present for the consideration of this Assembly, the 2026 budget decision, which we have christened Budget of our Acceleration and New Possibilities. The size of the total envelope proposed for the 2026 fiscal year is 1.016 trillion, and that is 1,632,651 naira 99 kobo. This figure represents a 13% increase from the 2025 appropriation numbers and captures the scale of our ambition to drive rapid socio-economic growth and sustain development through investments in infrastructural projects, social services, security, and similar outlets that are the heart of the ongoing transformation of the state. In consistency with the standards that have been set since the presentation of our first budget proposal 2 years ago, we shall commit 811.8 billion, representing 80% of the entire outlay to the execution of capital projects, while the sum of 204.4 billion, representing 20% of the budget, shall be committed to recurrent spending. A total outlay of 811.8 billion for capital projects represents a 32% jump from our 2025 proposal, which stood at 726.4 billion. Conversely, the size of the envelope for recurrent expenditure has been raised by 93% from last year's figures, which stood at 136 billion. The increase is to enable us to support critical day-to-day administrative functions and effectively meet our obligations to personnel, especially with the addition of thousands of new employees to the education and health sectors of of this economy to the payroll. For the 2026 fiscal year, we shall continue our standing practice of committing 20% of the total budget, amounting to 203.2 billion to the education sector. Of this sum, 150.4 billion will be committed to offsetting our recurrent expenditures, like payment salaries of about 15,000 teachers working in our primary and secondary schools and in the execution of capital projects. We have made provisions for the building of 17 model primary and secondary schools, as well as 3 technical colleges for vocational training programs. Also noteworthy is the fact that provisions have been made for the building of staff quarters and ICT labs in more than 100 public schools around the state. In this area, we have also earmarked 52.8 billion for recurrent and capital projects in the tertiary education subsector. This sum, in addition to catering for the welfare of the staff of Abia State University, Obonayamu, Polytechnic, and Abia State College of Education Technical Outreach, shall also be channeled into the renovation and construction of hostels for male and female students, lecture theaters, and support for general employment programs within these institutions. In the health sector, we are proposing to commit a princely sum of 149.7 billion, representing 15% of the total budget pack, to cover programs and activities connected to healthcare delivery services in the 2026 fiscal year. Some of the very notable capital projects we shall be driving in the new year include the supply of life-saving equipment to the Abia State University Teaching Hospital and across 23 other public health facilities around the state. Provisions have also been made for the reconstruction or renovation of 7 general hospitals and similar physical development activities across the public owned health institutions to support effective manpower development in the sector. We shall expectedly continue with our aggressive road infrastructure development in 2026. To this effect, the sum of 169.3 billion, representing 16.7% of the total envelope, have been budgeted for road construction, reconstruction, rehabilitation, and maintenance through the Ministry of Works. This sum shall be applied to the execution of the key projects we have outlined for 2026. These include the Omar Road, which we flagged off a few weeks ago, IAK Okuta, Bend Road, Omahia, Awu Mbo Road, Nkata, Abia Road. The deputy speaker is very happy. He's like to look at that. Nkata, Abia Road, Awu Umweze Road, Umweze Mbo Road, Umoji Road, Mpoko Road, that's the Lobimba, Amuzu Mbo Road, and several other roads that directly impact the livelihood of our people in different communities. What has happened here is that we started with the most important roads in 2023 up to 2024, and having delivered those, it is time for us to begin to go into the hinterlands. The whole idea is to ensure that no part of this state will be left behind. In line with our vision of transforming the public transport system, we have proposed to commit 11.1 billion to the sector in the new financial year. Of this sum, 6 billion shall be committed to the acquisition of 80 additional units of the 40-seater electric powered buses for urban mass transit. We have also made provisions for the completion of the intermodular transport terminals, junction improvement works, and bus shelters, which we estimate will come into operation latest by the second quarter of 2026. As you may be aware, the first set of 20 customized electric buses have been delivered and shall begin operations shortly. The needs of our entrepreneurial community, farmers and other economic agents in the agricultural value chain, the young people in sports and ICT, women and mothers, and the economically and socially vulnerable groups have been effectively factored into the preparation of the 2026 budget outline. We shall also drive important project outcomes in the areas of lands and housing development, environmental protection, restoration and urban renewal, and then cultural renaissance. We are committed to expanding the entertainment space to improve the daily experiences of our people through these broad but connected initiatives. To this effect, we have earmarked sums in excess of 229 billion for outcomes related to the outlined objectives through the various ministries, departments, and agencies that oversee responsibility along these lines. Our war against poverty and unemployment remains total. In this regard, I'm happy to inform this Honorable Assembly that the current budget proposal contains strategic investment framework to drive job creation and enterprise growth. The 2026 budget estimate has definite provisions for inclusive growth through the resuscitation of dormant economic assets and expansion of opportunity using technology, finance, and partnership. And I believe that in the next 1 week, we should be taking over having gotten approval from this honorable house to pay the asset management company of Nigeria and the payment has been made. So that the next 1 week, we should be taking over the staff pay on him and of course Afro beverages from Hong. The whole idea is to resuscitate some of these dormant economic assets and get the private sector to partner to ensure that jobs are created and that the economy is affected positively. Our public debt for 2020 outlook for 2026 is firm on a set of conservative estimates drawn from the economic dynamics of 2025 and the forecast of credible financial analysts. Recall that data from independent sources rank Abia as one of the best states in that all recorded expenditure shall be funded. And when I say all, I mean all recorded expenditure shall be funded from our IGRCs, while concentrating from external sources will be committed strictly to infrastructural development. In the new year, we estimate that the state will earn 83.2 billion through the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee (FAC), 67.1 billion from VAT collections, 26.5 billion from grants and aids, and 168 billion from other federal revenue channels and accruals. Our combined revenue projection from internal and external sources for 2026 is good at 607.2 billion, leaving us with a balance of 409 billion. The deficit, 40% of the entire output, shall be sourced from the loan market at concessional rates. In line with the fiscal disposition of this administration, may I again reiterate that not a penny shall be borrowed to finance recurrent expenditures. As I announced on this same podium in 2023 and 2024, we shall borrow only when it is absolutely necessary, and such funds shall be deployed only to the execution of projects that will ultimately liquidate the loans in the medium to long term. This Honorable House can be sure of one thing: we shall remain very, very prudent in the management of every venue appropriated by us. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, permit me to once again sincerely thank you for the special opportunity to share our vision for the coming year with all of you and millions of the Abia. As convention demands, I shall now proceed to name the draft of the 2026 budget of the Abia State Government before this honorable house for careful consideration and passage in fulfillment of the obligation we collectively owe the people who have entrusted us with the sacred responsibility of leadership. Mr. Speaker, members of the Honorable House, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you for listening. God bless you.
Initially, when we found ourselves in 2023 was inside a very big hole, which I am very happy that we were very, very close to the hole and ultimately approaching the ground zero. That's why it's going to be this acceleration and new possibilities. Before I go for that, I would like to welcome a lot of members of the executive that follow the Excellency Government to present this project. I'd like to welcome the Deputy Governor, His Excellency AG and DG himself. Also the Secretary of State. So thank you very much, sir, for that expertise. We wish that goes continue that direction. So at this point, I welcome everybody and also invite the governor at the end of the session for a little briefing or a little introduction of members of the House at my little office. Thank you, sir.
People get the